Guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am revisiting the information videos all about my journals. So if you've been subscribed to me for a little while, one of my first ever videos was what you need to start up a journal, and then I promised you guys later I would do more kind of journal videos. So this one is another journal video, and this is just ideas of what to put in your journal or just creative things, DIYs, because a journal doesn't just have to be like, I got up this morning, I had a bowl of porridge, then I went to B&Q. It doesn't have to be like a diary. When I say to people that I journal, I sometimes cringe at it because I know that people will assume journaling is like keeping a diary. I got up this morning and I done this and I done that, and typically that's generally what I do write in my journal, but it's deeper than that. I do a lot more than just what I done during the day. It's not a log of my life. I write down how I feel at that point in time, and I think it's great to keep a journal because you can look back from a year from now and say, hey, this time last year I was doing this, and you can really compare and contrast your life. I mean, that might be a bad thing if you're looking at it negatively, but I think it's really interesting to see where you were a year ago and where you are now, whether you've moved on or not, or whether you're like, I haven't changed, I need to get my life sorted. So before I get into it, a little disclaimer. Today is a horrible day. Like the last time I did a video, it was like the hottest day of the year and it was really sunny. Today it's like horrible and dull. So sorry if the lighting's really icky. I've got some lights on, but I'm not like a big fancy YouTuber that can afford £500 studio lights. I only have 51 subscribers. And the other disclaimer is my dog is in the room, so if you hear any sniffing or just strange noises, it's not me, it's the dog. So without further ado, I'll get into it. This here is my journal, and right off the bat it probably looks really boring. If you watched my what you need to start up a journal video, you'll know that starting up a journal can be really expensive or it can be really cost effective. Depends what approach you want to take. I bought a lot of these kind of notepad books when I started college, so I've got the paper in the house, so it makes more sense to use up the paper I've got than go out to Paper Chase and buy a nice folder or a nice notebook that's £10. It doesn't make sense, especially when after I've written or filled out this book I just move on to another book, and after I've written for a full year I take all the pages out and I put them in pretty folders. So personally I don't really go for the extravagant, the beautiful notebooks because they end up just going in the bin anyway. They're just a temporary thing. But this is my journal. You can see right, oh, some pages are falling out, oh, don't want them, right, here we go. You can see right off the bat, like, right here, I've got a page and it's not just words, there's a card on it. I think it's a card. Yeah, I'll take it out. So we've got two cards here. We've got an Elsa card. This was actually my birthday card I got for my birthday this year from my mum and my dad, and then over this side this was a card I got for my birthday again from the Disney store. So things like that you can put in your journal. If you've got a birthday card that you particularly liked, and then you can put it in your journal, because the way I see it is if you're not going to put it in your journal it would just go in the bin anyway. So I really do think things like cards, receipts, things like that, it just brings something to your journal a bit more. Because if it's all words and you're reading it, you'll just see all these words and you'll be like, oh, but if there's a bit of colour to the page or something breaks up the text like a card, it's nicer, and also that's a memory you have. You can keep that card forever instead of just throwing it out in the bin. So it's like recycling as well. So that's what I tend to do. I tend to, when I'm journaling about something, if I can stick something in that's relevant to that day, I will. So if I went to the Disney store and I bought something, obviously if I bought a mug from the Disney store I can't stick the mug in my journal, but I could stick in like the wrapping paper it was wrapped up in, or the receipt, or a clothes tag if I bought a top and I could take the clothes tag off if it was particularly nice. Here's another little idea I've got. So I don't know if you can see it, but just on the left hand side, the bottom of this page, I've actually got a little seashell because, oh my goodness, I can't hold this journal up because that page is ripped out and it keeps falling out. I have a little seashell there on the bottom page because that was a day me and my parents went up to Anstruther and we took the dogs a walk, and I wanted to take something home. Well, it wasn't even that. I wasn't even thinking about my journal. I was just walking along and I seen the shells were really pretty and then I picked it up. And usually when you pick a shell up and you take it home, it'll just sit in your room for maybe a couple of weeks if you're a hoarder, and then it goes in the bin. But when I seen it, I thought, no, I'm going to pick it up and take it home and stick it in my journal. So that's what I've done. So I now have a little part of Anstruther with me in my journal. Here's another example. I was particularly enjoying a packet of buttons and I decided I wanted to stick the packet of buttons in my journal because I decided all of my pages were just text, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stick a packet of buttons in my journal because why not? Because they were finished anyway, and what would you have done with them? You would have just put them in the bin. So instead of putting them in the bin, I stuck them in my journal. So my journal's kind of like a bin, really. I put everything in my journal that would usually go in the bin, but there's nothing wrong with that. So with that, that's what you can do on the creative side. So if you were particularly enjoying a packet of buttons and you wanted to stick that packet of buttons in your journal, you can. So that's one thing you can put in your journal to make it a little bit more colourful, a little bit more expressive, putting things in it like that. And also they're memories as well for you. You can't make that stuff up. This is where my journal isn't strictly a journal to me as well. Because like I said at the start, I don't just write in my journal. I got up this morning, I had porridge, I done this, I done that. My journal is kind of like a scrapbook as well. Sometimes I'll get up and I'll just decide, I want to doodle. And I will just randomly doodle, like I have doodles here, in my journal. You know, that's got nothing to do with what I done during the day. I'll just pick a page and I'll just randomly doodle however I feel. So if I feel like drawing seahorses, I'll just draw a bunch of seahorses there. And I've always got that memory, like, oh, that day I fancied doing a bit of drawing, which for me is quite rare because I'm a terrible drawer. So you could do that as well if you're not into the whole, like, I woke up this morning, I had porridge. You could just have a journal and you could just write things like, I feel happy today, and you could just draw a bunch of things around it to symbolise your happiness or how you felt. So it doesn't have to be the stereotypical classic journal. Another thing I do with my journal is I kind of use it as a notebook as well as a journal and a scrapbook. So this is what I mean by I can't call my journal just a journal because it has many functions, because I doodle in it, I write how I feel, what I've done during the day, I have memories in it, but I also have things in it like lists. So I'll write things in it like what I want for Christmas. So it's really nice looking back. I'll say, oh, look what I wanted for Christmas in 2014. Did I get everything I want? And you'll look back and you'll be like, I wanted that in 2014, are you kidding me? So it's really nice in that regard as well, because you can look back and see what you wanted in 2014. So you can write things down like Christmas list. You could even, if you wanted to, you could write a shopping list and then rip it out and then stick it back in, so you can be like, what grocery shopping did I do on the 16th of June? You know, things like that. The lists I typically make are what I want for Christmas, what I want for my birthday. I keep lists of, if I want to do favourites videos, I'll write down all my favourites. I've done lists for filming, so what I want to film, when I want to film them, when I want to have them edited by. So it's kind of like a planner as well. And recently I've been making a list in my journal of all the money that goes into my bank and then all the money that comes out, because I like to keep tabs on my money. So as a whole, my journal is a journal, a scrapbook, a planner and a notebook. That's why I love journaling, because it doesn't have to be just what I done in the day. It's great, and I think it's really therapeutic as well. I've already spoke about the benefits of journaling in my last video, but I just think everybody should try journaling, especially if you're somebody who likes to get your thoughts and opinions out there, but you know your thoughts and opinions are a bit controversial. It's best to keep them in your journal, because you're not going to be judged, because it's only you that'll ever read them. And if somebody else stumbles upon your journal and reads them, well, that's their fault, because that's your own personal area. So that's kind of the gist of what I put in my journal. It doesn't have to just be, when it comes to the writing side of journaling, it doesn't have to just be what you done during the day. You could write, sometimes I'll write, if I had a particularly crazy dream, I'll write down what I dreamed about, or you could always write songs or poems or anything like that. Honestly, there's no limit to what you can put in this book. Whatever you think, the imagination is your limit, the sky is your limit. You can put anything you want down. And that is what I love about journaling. Nobody's going to come up to you and say, you can't put a song in your journal, that's not right. Because there's no rules when it comes to journaling. So that is just a little insight about what I put in my journal, scrapbook, notebook, planner, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, my dog sneezed. That's just a little insight about what I put into my journal. I will be doing another journal video, because I'm actually wanting to do a little DIY to show you kind of the more creative side about what I put in my journal. Might take a while though, because I'll give you a sneak peek. It's to do with Disney and Starbucks. That's all I'm saying. But once I get all the proper utensils, I will do a DIY for you. But I hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I will talk to you again soon on my channel. Bye guys! Close the chapter on that. Parsnip, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, come here, come here, come here, come here. Ooh! Come here. Were you sneezing in my video? Were you sneezing in my video? You were sneezing in my video. Were you sneezing in my... You saying hello to everybody? You haven't made an appearance in my videos for a long, long, long time. Do you want a treat? Yeah? You want a treat? Well, let's stop filming and get you a treat. You say bye guys. Bye guys. Bye guys. Bye.